Good morning, my name is Josh from CyclonesOZ, and today we're tracking a powerful low pressure system in the Tasman Sea offshore from Sydney, which is driving a very large and powerful swell across the coast of New South Wales. We're also going to be taking a look at a couple of strong cold fronts which are expected to impact areas around the Great Australian Bight, and also a powerful cold front expected for Western Australia. All of that plus more coming up in today's weather forecast. If you haven't already, then please do consider subscribing and also leave a like on the video while you're at it. It's great to be back tracking the weather, and your support is greatly appreciated. So starting things off, we're going to zoom into this low pressure area offshore from New South Wales. It is quite a long way offshore, but you can see it's driving in this speckly cloud here towards the New South Wales coastline. That is providing a couple of showers here and there around the Newcastle Forster sort of area this morning, but most of all, in the wake of this low pressure system, temperatures have plummeted. Jindabyne this morning recording a minimum of -8 degrees Celsius. It's still -8 degrees there this morning, and a lot of locations around Canberra -4 degrees. Up here at Dalton, -4 as well. So very cold conditions, foggy and icy conditions expected along a lot of New South Wales. Along the coastline, it's just a little bit more mild, 10 degrees in Wollongong, 9 degrees in the Sydney metro area. However, as you get further inland, much cooler outside of Wollongong at Mossvale, 2 degrees, just above freezing there. And on the coastline with these damaging winds, it is going to be icy, that's for sure. Very cold indeed. Wind chills will be around that 5 or 6 degree mark. So it's going to be bitterly cold in and around the water, which is, again, something that I would like to talk about. These wave heights, very high indeed. They were higher yesterday, but still around 5 metres offshore from New South Wales. And coming into the beaches around Bondi and Manly, you're talking about waves around 3 to 3.7 metres high, 3.8 metres, probably touching 4 metres or so in some places, the bigger sets at least. So very high wave heights indeed through there, and it looks like they're going to be continuing throughout the course of the day, easing off slightly throughout the course of the day, but it still looks like by evening we're still going to be talking about wave heights of around 2 to 3 metres high offshore from Sydney, about 3 metres high still, and then easing off for good by around Wednesday morning. And into Wednesday afternoon, they're no higher than about 1.5 metres to 2 metres, but still dangerous surf conditions expected throughout the course of today and into tomorrow morning as well. So if you are a surfer and you're an experienced surfer, just take extra care out in the water. And if you are not experienced in surfing at all, or swimming for that matter, there won't be any lifeguards out on beaches today. It is far too dangerous for them. Just make sure you are taking extra care in and around the water. Not advised to go near the water, though, in conditions like this, that's for sure. It's very dangerous indeed. Winds aren't too strong right now. They are a little bit gusty just offshore from New South Wales, and wind gusts are at around that 60 kilometres an hour or so, but they're not damaging at this point. And I don't think they will get to damaging wind thresholds from this low pressure system. It is drawing itself away from New South Wales at this time and actually weakening a little bit as well, but it looks like the damaging wind threat is very minimal. It's just going to be peak wind gusts of around 60 to 70 kilometres an hour, maybe one or two moments where the winds could get up towards 80 kilometres an hour, but nothing too crazy on that mark indeed. But as this cold front pulls away, I mean, these cold conditions are going to be staying. We're looking at below zero temperatures for a lot of New South Wales, at least in the agricultural districts tomorrow morning, early tomorrow morning at that, and very cold once you get up towards the elevated areas into Victoria as well. I mean, -5 degrees, -6 or so expected around Thredbo, that sort of area, so it'll likely be a lot colder at the top station, probably talking about -8 or -9 up there tomorrow morning. And there is a good chance we do see some ridiculously cold conditions tomorrow, which could go for the coldest conditions of the year, and they could be breaking double digits in the negatives as well in one or two locations. So just the heads up there, it's going to be clear and it's going to be bitterly cold. Ice conditions are expected across a lot of New South Wales. I don't think the chance of fog is there. There could be a little bit of fog up in the north associated with this high pressure system in Queensland, but it doesn't look like the fog chances are too extreme. But yeah, that kind of does it for the forecast, at least initially. This low pressure system isn't really a major threat to land, and rainfall over the next 24 hours, even over the next 72 hours, is very minimal, with only one or two locations expecting to pick up any kind of rainfall that will actually register. But a couple of drops are still expected here and there on the south coast of Victoria, and also up towards Newcastle and Forster on that little piece of land that sticks out. They always seem to get a little bit of rainfall from these weather events, but it doesn't look like rainfall is going to be a threat at all from this weather system. Looking long term, there is still the chance of another weather system getting caught here in the Tasman Sea later this weekend towards Sunday and Monday. It doesn't look like it's going to be anywhere near as strong as the deep low that we've got right now, but it still could chuck a few showers towards the New South Wales coastline's way. Between Sydney right up towards Coffs Harbour and Lismore, they could be experiencing a couple of showers this weekend and into early next week. Nothing too heavy in terms of rainfall, but apart from that, after that, doesn't look like there's anything on the way in terms of severe weather. The really strong weather system will be clearing out throughout the course of today and into tomorrow. A little bit of snow as well expected on the alpine areas later on next week, actually Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. I think there'll be a bit of snow there towards the end of June, and a little bit of snow, of course, expected throughout Thursday and Friday with the passage of another cold front that's going to be moving through. Nothing too crazy there, but it could be a little bit more widespread than the snowfall that we have already seen this year. But in terms of rainfall accumulation for New South Wales, Victoria and Tasmania, I'm not seeing any standout areas over the next 10 days. One or two spots could pick up towards 50 millimetres or so, but the rainfall will be isolated and mostly from those coastal showers, especially for New South Wales. Victoria expecting around 10 to 15 millimetres statewide for the next 10 days, with one or two locations expecting up towards 25 millimetres. North coast of Tasmania could receive a little bit of rainfall later on this week and into early next weekend, but it doesn't look like there's going to be anything crazy going for the rainfall through there. It's South Australia, actually, that's really caught my eye, and I would like to talk about this deep low pressure system that's expected to form in the Great Australian Bight later on this week. Now, it's going to be the remnants of a powerful cold front that impacts the southwest of Western Australia, but later this weekend and into early next week, Monday and Tuesday, the 24th and 25th of June, respectively, this powerful low pressure system is going to kind of stall, in fact, in terms of its forward motion south of Adelaide and the Eyre Peninsula and Kangaroo Island on the latitude of around the Bass Strait, and it's going to be driving quite a lot of showers and rain ashore for areas between Ceduna right down towards the South Australia-Victoria border, and for areas around Mount Gambier, Robe and that sort of area, that's the first really decent rainfall that they're going to be getting this winter season. Much needed rainfall, and it looks like it is a certainty, at least on the forecast at this time, but yeah, a very slow-moving band of rain and showers expected to begin from early next week, Monday and Tuesday, and extend right through in towards Wednesday, easing off for good by around Thursday. But it looks like in terms of peak rainfall accumulations, we're talking about up towards 100 millimetres for some exposed coastal locations. I think the estimate here of around 200 millimetres on the northern part of Kangaroo Island is bogus, but still, just a heads up, a lot of rainfall could be expected for one or two locations. Even Adelaide itself expecting around 50 millimetres of rain from this weather system. I think that's a totally plausible forecast. I mean, 15 millimetres over the course of 4 days, that does add up to 50 or 60 millimetres. So it looks like a really healthy forecast here in terms of rainfall, reciprocated amongst the forecast models as well. Both the GFS and the ECMWF on board basically neck and neck, and the Access G3 as well, very much congruent in terms of how much rainfall is expected for the Adelaide area, and for agricultural areas around Adelaide as well, expecting some very good and healthy rainfall there, which is great news indeed. Winds as well could be a little bit of a threat there. It looks like there could be a damaging wind warning issued later on this weekend and into early next week. Wind gusts could approach 90 kilometres an hour for areas between Ceduna towards Port Lincoln on the Eyre Peninsula. That includes Streaky Bay and down towards some of the oyster farming communities south of Streaky Bay as well. So just a heads up there. It looks like there could be some damaging winds throughout the course of this weekend and into later next week. I think this forecast run of 120 kilometre an hour winds here is a little bit on the high side, but still just a heads up, those damaging winds are inbound. Heavy rainfall as well. Looks like temperatures could plummet in the wake of this weather system as well, down into the single digits, maybe towards freezing as well for parts of South Australia. So some cold, full-blown winter conditions are certainly on the way next week. And just to wrap this video up, it's been a shorter one compared to the ones that have, well, I can't say recently uploaded because this is the first video in about 9 days, thank you to a week of sickness and then a bit of travelling here and there. But it looks like we've got some strong weather systems coming through later next week. But first off, we're going to be talking about the weather system this weekend. By Friday night, we're going to be seeing a strong weather system approach the southwest corner of Western Australia. A bit of lightning is expected, some heavy rainfall as well for the southwest Cape. So it looks like Perth might be just a little bit too far north to receive the heaviest most of the rainfall, but still a gusty line of showers and maybe a storm here and there is expected Saturday morning into early Saturday afternoon, and then some showers expected in the wake of this system, which will continue right through to Saturday evening into early Sunday morning, but clearing off for sport on Sunday morning, and it will probably warm up to a pretty nice day of around 17 or 18 degrees actually Sunday morning, with clear conditions for the Perth area still and clear conditions. So Sunday's actually going to be a really good day to be outside by the looks of things in the wake of this weather system. Just might be on the cooler side, but still great to know. And then later on this week, Tuesday and Wednesday, another powerful weather system lines up. This one looks a lot stronger than the one coming through this weekend, and it also looks quite slow moving. A lot of rainfall can be expected with this weather system. How much rainfall? Well, these reds here certainly do indicate the heavier rainfall on the forecast. You're up to 20 millimetres an hour can be expected as this cold front makes its passage through. But this is a long way out in the forecast. We're talking about next Thursday, the 27th of June here, and there's a lot of discrepancies and differences between the forecast models. The Axis G3 calling for this system to be about 2 days behind what the Eastern Weather forecast model is, and the GFS calling for a much different system structurally. So again, this is a forecast that we're going to have to wait and see and really watch on. And like I did say in the community post, there won't be any more uploads on this channel until I think Tuesday or Wednesday, the 25th or the 26th of June. I'm going travelling into the desert. I'm going to wind my way up towards Meekatharra, Mount Magnet, that sort of area, probably even further north actually. I think we're ending up further into the Gascoyne of West Australia. So it'll be a great adventure. I'm going to try and film as much of it as possible. And it looks like I'm also not going to be having any reception. So there'll be radio silence from me on this channel as well over the coming couple of days, so just the heads up. But yeah, once I do come back, there will be videos daily as usual for the foreseeable future, looking like we've got some interesting winter weather to be covering in the back end of this month into June and into early July. Just taking a look at the wider picture here around Australia, looks like there's going to be an awful lot going on, a big trough extending over the top of Queensland here. These systems can sometimes spit out into east coast lows, or tropical lows at least, around the Queensland, northern New South Wales sort of area. So it looks like we're going to be coming back to some very interesting weather in the back part of June and early part of July. So it looks like things are going to head into full-blown winter. But yeah, just to recap throughout the course of today, I know it's been a short video, or much shorter than usual, but I do hope you've enjoyed it. Freezing cold conditions across New South Wales and Victoria, big waves along the New South Wales coastline. Also got some winter weather coming in for South Australia finally, some very good rainfall expected there. Winter weather as well for Victoria and Tasmania, 25 millimetres expected across much of both of those states, and some more cold fronts expected for Western Australia. We're not sick of the rain yet, but it does look like after these cold fronts, we're certainly going to be a bit more fed up with it, and with 2 or 3 more cold fronts coming through in the next 10 days, it'd be great to get a couple of days of sunny weather and fast forward the rainfall down in towards the agricultural regions, which do desperately need this rainfall. But yeah, that's basically been it for the forecast update. If you have enjoyed it, then please do leave a like on the video, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Just been a quick update to get the weather picture out for those that need it as well. I'm sorry about the huge break that I've taken in uploads. COVID did actually hit me quite hard, and then I went down south and did a bit of hiking last week, the last couple of days as well, which was fantastic. Here's a couple of photos of the sunrise actually 2 days ago from the top of Bluff Knoll. It was absolutely amazing, spectacular. It was. Special shout out to the channel sponsors. Their names are on screen right now, and their support is much appreciated. But that is all from me, and I'll catch you all in the next storm. Goodbye.